Good afternoon. This is Spirit Journey. And yes, today is November 1st, one day after what they call a terrorist attack in Manhattan along the bike path on the West Side Highway. That bike path was the same path that I used to ride my new bike. And I didn't ride this week because the weather was a little cold for me. But I want to say up front that the condolences to those poor 8 victims, 8 of them, and then you had many that were injured and are in the hospital. And I even have in the background my computer, so you might hear some of the news. The news is on right now. I just want to get my thoughts side and commenting on this attack. What they learned so far was this individual, he's 29 years old, and he arrived in the country about 7 years ago in 2010. And he got in, he's legal, and he won what they call some diversity program for issuing visas for immigrants to enter in. And he's one of many who won this lottery and entered. And currently now, after this horrific event, that they want to stop this diversity program, this diversity visa program. Now, when I heard that term diversity, and just recently I did a video saying that the term diversity is a ploy for the pedophilia in this country. Now I'm hearing this diversity with this visa program. So now it seems like diversity again is something that is a cover to allow problematic people from other countries to enter and to cause this type of event. Now, all of us, if we're not Native American, we're all, have ancestry that were immigrated here, and of course those who were brought here forcibly due to slavery. That's another issue, and that's a terrorism in itself. But overall, if you're not here and an indigenous, we're all immigrants. So I'm not anti-immigration. And again, half of my grandparents were immigrants. So I'm not against that. They came in and they just follow the rules, assimilate, But I'm concerned about this. It's like they use the same type of vocabulary, diversity. And I don't know, it's really bugging me now. It's really bugging me because it all seems to be a cover for something stealth to actually occur. They want to have this individual, well, some people in government were asking Trump whether or not to have this individual, because he's in the hospital now, the alleged shooter, and they're inquiring whether to have him as what they call a some type of combative something. In essence, he might get the label as being a military, rather than just an individual, because again, he is here lawfully, and rather than putting him on trial for murder, they want to possibly treat the incident as if he's like a warfare. Enemy combatant, that's the term. Enemy combatant. And to give him that label, send him to Guantanamo, that's in Cuba, so they don't have to put him on trial. He won't have the rights for an attorney or anything like any representation. And who knows what they'll do to him or not do to him, and if he really has secrets, or if if you cover up the evidence like 9/11, then you don't get to the root of the problem. And I think some of these combatants may be working for the government. I mean, I'm just going to say it as it is. I don't trust the investigation for the September 11th, 2001 attacks on the World Trade Center. I think it was a big cover-up. I feel to have this individual be classified as an enemy combatant will then cover up the evidence of who he really is, who he's represented by, and they're saying that he was radicalized here. And I'm asking myself the question, is that so? He entered the country at the age of 22. So what type of political beliefs you have, by the age of 22, you most likely have it all, it's set in stone pretty much. And he moved to New Jersey. And he's now married and has children. So I'm wondering whether with these diversity visa programs, and again, that the country that he's coming from was not any country that was flagged, like a red flag, and they allowed immigrants, Uzbekistan, I think it's called. But if it was no problem of that country, then how did he become radicalized here? Or maybe he already had the propensity of doing something like this, like what they call a sleeper cell. So I guess what I'm saying, well, there was something else I wanted to say. They were holding a press conference, and then they had a woman, and it was a black woman, and so here you have this big press conference, and she's asking something about slavery in America and the Civil War. And the woman that she's asking this question to, she was a little irritated. And she said, hey, I don't like where you're coming with this question, that you seem to be implying that the people today will be in favor of slavery. And I resent that, she was saying. But why even bring up that type of question on something that's modern right now? And I think this was a big part why I'm doing this video, actually because of her. Now, I think, again, the key word is diversity, and I think a lot of American blacks love this word diversity. And as I mentioned in my prior video, that diversity seems to be a ploy term to bring in pedophilia, and then you're disguising it with homosexuality. And now this diversity term is being used to bring in violent people who are going to use cars, anything at their access, to use it against the people here in this country. I think we have to be more selective, and I think a lot of the black representatives, such as I'm not sure who that black woman was, but for her to come up with something I thought foolish. You have someone who committed a violent act, and possibly he'll be sent to Cuba, so there won't be a trial. The New Yorkers have a right to be able to put on trial a murderer and have justice. But when you just brush him away and hide him in Cuba, anything could happen, and we won't learn to the truth. And for this woman to bring up something about slavery and the Civil War all in one sentence, it's like you don't get it. These diversity programs, whether it's for visas or for homosexuality / really pedophilia, is destroying the black community. These diversity programs, the people aren't going to be sent into rich, wealthy, white communities, but they're going to go into that black woman's community. And they don't seem to get this. They don't get it. They think every so-called minority, colored, brown skin, yellow skin, black skin person is their friend. And if this person would be around these people and listen to what they really think about Americans, and they throw black Americans in that category too. They're not your friend, and they don't respect you or your culture. So please open your eyes. Don't get fooled about the word diversity. It's not your friend. It's not the black community's friend. We have to be very selective who comes in our communities. Who are your children going to associate with? What is the curriculum that your school is teaching your child? But a lot of these black women in the United States, American black women, are not thinking ahead. You're just thinking about emotionalism because of what happened over 150 years ago, or the 1950s and 1960s and all that radicalization, all that drama. And you think everybody who is a non-white person is your friend. No. You need to start opening your eyes. Who is getting the short end of the stick is you. And you don't get it. You don't get it. I hope they really do close this diversity visa program and to what they call the merit program. See, when you have something with merit, you're going to analyze what skills, what could they offer you when they come here. You want to an asset to your country, not a liability. So that's all that I really have to say. We have to really protect ourselves. I'm not saying radicalization and to hate anyone who's different, who looks different than you or whose religion. No. People are going to do what they're going to do before they enter in this country. I speculate this 22, who was then 22 years old, already had his political beliefs. But it was just a matter when they strike. So, and I live here in the city. I used that same bike path, last month, several times. It's hitting close to home. Me. I'm born and raised here, and I'm a veteran, and proud of that. It's not a perfect system. Nothing is perfect. But it's really getting corrupt. Let's stop that corruption and be more selective. and take more proactivity about our families and how we're going to protect ourselves and our children. So take care. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.